Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Oscar here again, and today I'm gonna make a kind of little short quick video kind of talking about, in my opinion, like the best time to shoot cars and stuff like that, which is gonna be kind of in overcast weather, right towards like sunset time. In a past editing tutorial, I kind of did a video kind of showing you guys how I edited the pictures of Kale's Bag 350Z, which I'll put a couple pictures on the screen. So those pictures were shot during right during sunset time, which is like the number one and number two best time for me in my opinion to shoot, which I'm not gonna say in my opinion, but like the two best times I like to shoot is sunset and overcast weather. So the main reason for sunset, the sun is going down, the light kind of gets a little softer, there's less harsh kind of reflections and all different types of stuff. When the sun goes down, I mean, you gotta shoot quick, but you get some amazing results. Now, the other thing with like overcast weather that I like shooting, same thing, the lights are light, anything hitting anything is really soft. Reflections are basically none, because if there are reflections, they're really kind of moody reflections and all types of stuff. So on the screen, I got my Lightroom open. You guys can see what's going on. I have a picture of a Corvette, GTR, Viper, and a NSX. Kind of like this picture. I'm just gonna kind of go show kind of what I did, or like how I edited each picture. So I'll show a before and after, and then kind of talk why, you know, I edited it a certain way, or why I believe that shooting during overcast is really nice. So why I believe shooting during overcast creates all these like moody looks and stuff like that. So here's a before of this picture. Here's the after. As you can tell, the white, it's not too in your face. And the other thing I like about moody pictures, like during overcast weather, you get the dark sky, right? So especially with this like Vet, where you have the kind of livery with it, or like the design with the wrap and stuff, you have the white of the car, and then you have kind of black accents, red accents. So the before picture, it looks normal. Edit it, you get the sky barely changed at all. You're able to bring in the highlights and the whites of the car itself to make it pop, and then the shadows and blacks you can basically crush to create a more contrasted look like around the wheels. So there's one thing. Then like the foreground, obviously I made it a little darker just to kind of create more focus onto the car itself. I don't know, overall this is like a really moody picture. During overcast weather, you're able to crush the blacks and the shadows to create much more mood and make it seem like a little darker. But especially if you're working with a car like this, like the Vet that's white, you can make the highlights and the whites pop so that you could see the car a little bit more. So moving on to this picture of a GTR, I'll kind of show you guys how, if I were to edit it like right now, how it works. So we could bring up some contrast. For shadows, I usually bring them up. Highlights in this one, I'm gonna get rid of a majority of them. I'm gonna bring the whites up slightly, and then the blacks I'm gonna get rid of real quick. During overcast weather, I'll tend to bring more clarity into the picture, whereas during, let's say I'm shooting during sunset or something like that, I'll tend to push it, like I've recently done in videos, to maybe -10 or something, create this little softer look. But this one we're going to go with a little bit more clarity, bring up the vibrance, and I think I'm going to get rid of a little bit of saturation. So moving into the tone curve, kind of, like I said, I'm still kind of learning how to do this, so I just mess around, kind of see what looks good. Let's bring this to like here, so I still have the sky being dark. Bring up the darks, and then crush the shadows. So like that, there you can see it before, after. For taillights, I really like to bring up the saturation so you can actually see that they're red. Then detail, obviously do the 65 like I usually do, and then mask everything so it's not doing the whole picture. This was shot on my Sony a7R II with a Canon 50mm, so I'm going to do this. Bring that down, and then add a little bit more vignette. Then I don't really mess with split toning much, but then see, like the temperature of the picture is kind of right where I'd want it. I don't think I changed it. So then I'll just go over with the brush tool, do a quick little simple on the car itself. Then I'll zoom in onto the exhaust, grab the brush again, bring up the shadows so you can see the actual tips. And then we'll show off the diffuser a little bit as well, just because it's a crazy looking diffuser. Same thing over here, the whole part of the diffuser and a little bit of the bumper. Bring up the clarity, and then I'll drop the contrast, or bring a little bit more contrast so you can see that there. Then we'll kind of do with like the other picture that I did, put a little gradient filter down here, and don't make it look too fake, but you don't need to go crazy with it, just so it looks natural. So kind of like that. So there's the before and there's the after. So you can see there's kind of a little hazy look to it now. I'm using, I believe this is Lightroom, was it 2018 or something like that? So I don't have the dehaze down here in the presence. So what I do to combat that, I just use the contrast and the blacks and the shadows, and I just crush them so you can get a straight kind of look through it. So there's that one edited. Here's the same thing with this Viper. Now all these were shot at Espresso Exotics, which is a early morning meet for kind of exotic cars, like cars and coffee. So same thing with the Viper picture. Now this one, there's not really much of that kind of haze going on, but shot it just at the right exposure to where you edit it. I was able to bring the blues up in the color itself, make a little more poppy. I believe then I added 40 clarity on this one. Now that's kind of more than I usually tend to do. I think it looked good on this one. So brought the highlights up and the whites up like I usually do, brought the shadows, crushed the blacks. Not so much on the tone curve. I kind of went kind of standard old editing style with the tone curve on this one. Then I believe, let's see, with the brush, I just went over the car, but then I did a gradient filter down here. Sharpness and clarity I brought down, so it creates a little bit more of a kind of softer look to it. So your main focus is on the car, helping with the bleeding lines of the crosswalk or the non-parking zone right here kind of helped. And I think the blue kind of matches here and then also matches here, so that kind of helped as well. Same thing on this picture of this wide body. Now you can see in the corner here, it wasn't too much of an overcast day, but the light was just soft enough, I guess you could say. So I kind of did a little bit more shadow editing on this, so I brought the shadows up all the way to 75, and I kind of shot this underexposed so the sky wasn't overexposed. And then I brought the exposure up so you could see the wheel and the car itself. But then when I was editing the first time, which I'm not going to edit this picture again, but I totally lost the sky in a sense, but in my opinion the sky isn't really a part of the picture. So I brought up the exposure on the car itself, but the exposure just brought it up to 0.35. Brought the highlights up, brought the whites up, brought the shadows up a lot, but then I also crushed the blacks and the shadows a little bit in the tone curve. Like on this I did the same editing kind of tone curve as the other picture, but yeah. But then I believe when I did the brush tool, I just went over the car itself, and then I wanted to bring out this Liberty Walk Edition NSX down here, so you were able to see that. And then yeah, so that's kind of what I believe in editing during Overcast. It kind of helps bring out the moody tones, moody looks of the pictures, and it's almost the easiest time to create those types of looks, unless you're working in a space that has a lot of shadows, a lot of light kind of seeping through. That will be also a good time to create those moody looks. But in my opinion, the kind of Overcast is one of the best times to do it, and you can really crush your blacks and bring out some looks that you might not be able to get during sunset, and let's say if you're shooting in the middle of the day, which is harsh lighting. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like and comment down below what you thought about the video. And it's been Oscar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.